像の前に破壊や。
Hey, Broken Racing family. Wanted to catch y'all up, keep y'all abreast of what's going on with me here. Kind of been moving a little bit slow on working the car. You know how it goes. You order and brought, you wait for things to come in. You gotta wait for other stuff to happen before you can start on other things. So I wanted to introduce you to the reason why the build is called CrAzY 8. This is ZF 8 speed. Exactly, it is a 8 HP 75Z from an all-wheel drive from a 2016. This one particularly from a 2016 X5. So got this a few months ago. Been having it sitting waiting for the things that I need to put it in the car, connect everything. Been doing a lot of research to figure out what I could put in the car, what I can get away with. A lot of people get an 8 HP 45, and that's fine. It holds a decent amount of torque, a little bit more than stock, but when you start pushing into the 600 torque range like my car is capable of, you can blow it up. So, you know, some people go with the 8 HP 70, and I decided to kick it up just a little, make it a little extra spicy with the 8 HP 75. So this is what I ended up getting. In the rear of the transmission, you got the mounting points for the transfer case that comes with this transmission. I can't think of the code for it, but the one that comes with the 6 HP is the ATC 300, and that's will bolt onto this, no problem. You don't need any adapter plates or anything like that. Another problem you might run into or will run into is the torque converter. The torque converter that comes in here is a little bit bigger, and it won't line up with the M54 flex plate. So the way to get around that is to either modify the torque converter that comes with the 8 HP, or if you can find a torque converter from an 8 HP 45, they will bolt up to the N54 flywheel or flex plate, whatever you want to call it. So like I was saying, this came out of a 2016 X5 diesel. That's important if you're looking for one for yourself. You got to make sure it's from the diesel version. I found mine here in the States, the 8 HP 70. I think for the diesel is a little bit more tricky to find because they were mostly sold overseas, but you can find this 8 HP 75 here in America. The thing about the 8 HP 75 is, I believe, as far as what I've been researching, there's a Gen 1 and a Gen 2. This would be a Gen 1, and this is pretty much has the same dimensions as an 8 HP 70. And the Gen 2 8 HP 75 is slightly longer. So if you end up with one of those, you might end up with issues as far as getting it reconnected to your drive shaft and having your transmission mounts line up. But as long as you have a 70 or a 75, you're good. When you put the mounting plate on there, everything should pretty much go back where you had it with the 6 speed transmission. The other things you'll need a mounting plate, of course, an adapter plate that works between the engine and the transmission. You'll need some way to control it. There's 2 different ways that I can think of off the top of my head pretty much is turbo lambic or CAN ECU, which is what I'm going with. There's the HTG, I believe it's called, but as far as what I've seen, a lot of people complaining about it, having some complaints. Maybe they've gotten better since the last time I've looked into it, but most people usually either swear by turbo lambic or CAN. The reason why I went with CAN ECU is because it's pretty much kind of plug and play. You just plug the things in where they need to be. With the turbo lambic, you have to open up the transmission itself, cut out the TCU basically, solder in their chip TCU, and you'll have a lot more flexibility and things you can control since you're doing that. But you know, it's a lot of work getting to the TCU inside of these things. You have to completely open it up and cut it open and desolder and a whole bunch of other stuff I'm not prepared to get ready to do. So there's other little minor things you need, like oil cooler adapter that goes on the side of the transmission. You need an adapter for that, and other various things. So stay tuned, keep watching what I'm doing, and you know, while I got you here, hit that subscribe button, like button. Y'all know what's up. Do it. See here, got two different torque converters. This is the one that came with the 8 HP 75, and this is the one, this came out of an 8 HP 45. Now, the reason why I got these two different torque converters, as you can see, this one is a little bit bigger than the 45. The 75 is bigger than the 45, but the problem with the torque converter from the 75 is this is a flex plate or flywheel, whatever you want to call it, from a N54, and if you lay it down on the torque converter, you can see that absolutely none of the mounting bolts holes line up. You can't even see any of them, so you'd have to modify the torque converter from the 8 HP 75. But if you use the torque converter from the 8 HP 45 and twisty, and you can see that all of the bolt holes line up like they're supposed to, and you can use it in the 8 HP 70 or 75. To do the swap, you also need a shifter. This is from an F10 chassis. I believe it was a 535. Might have came out with. You got to make sure it's a 10-pin connector, so it'll work with the CAN ECU that I'm getting. Another project I'm working on is a solid transfer case mount. So here's a steel or aluminum, I'm not sure what it's made of, insert that goes into the rubber mount to firm it up, make sure it's nice and sturdy, and that'll be going in. All right, so this is pretty much where I wanted to leave this video, just kind of a, I guess, a prelude to what's coming up. Kind of hitting a few couple of roadblocks, pretty much trying to find solenoids for 8 HP 75, so might just have to go ahead and throw the transmission back in there and say a prayer. But other than that, you know, I got a lot of projects. I'm gonna get a little bit more information, more in depth when I get to those things. I got my transmission adapter plate that should be here by the end of the week, so hopefully things will get to moving and shaking with that. So y'all keep tuning in, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, you know, keep checking back in, seeing where I'm at. I got a whole lot of side projects I'm working on. As you can see, I got all of this stuff out of here. I'm going to be rerouting some wires, so you know, the engine bay will look a little bit cleaner. So y'all stay tuned in, locked in, and you know, tell your friends, tell your mama, tell your uncle. Peace.
Wait for us to get equality, to be better for the love. Bitch, don't even pay attention. If you did, then you know something is moving purpose.